Along with Betsy Kling, who's back today. I'm Jay Crawford. A very good Tuesday afternoon to you, Betsy, and to everyone watching at home.
Yeah, a little dreary out there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Starting to feel a little bit like November instead of October now, so we're kind of flipping around on the calendar. Matt will be along in just a little bit to let us know where the forecast takes us from here.
We begin tonight at 5 with a couple of stories that are very big. First, breaking news, and we know many of you have been waiting a long time to hear this news. An FDA panel today, in fact, just a short while ago, approved Pfizer's vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11 years old. This is significant because this is the first COVID vaccine for kids under the age of 12.
And we know there's supposedly more coming. And of course, we turn to our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins. And Monica, it's not like make those appointments tomorrow, get on the thing. There's still a couple hurdles to get over.
Slow your roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so this is essentially the first of 4 steps before the vaccine could be available to kids. The FDA is going to review the panel's decision and then make an official decision. They usually follow the panel's guidance, though. Then next Tuesday, the CDC advisory panel will discuss the vaccine. They will make their recommendation. Then the CDC will review it and make their official decision. So if all of them sign off, the Pfizer vaccine could be available to kids age 5 to 11 by the end of next week or the following week. So in today's vote, though, it's important to note there were 18 voters, 17 voted yes, and 1 abstained.
That's interesting. Okay, 2 things on this. Any word on possible mandates for kids 5 to 11 here, like we've seen in adults? And the second one is, do we have any idea, is there a research study, anything that tells us how likely parents are to actually get their kids vaccinated?
You know, we already know that California has come out and said it will mandate vaccines for 12 to 17-year-olds, but only after full FDA approval for that age group. I think we're going to have to wait and see if the FDA gives us any insight into mandates for little ones. Meanwhile, there was a survey from the Kaiser Family Foundation. It found 32% of parents are going to wait and see. 24% of parents said not going to get their kids vaccinated. So it's looking like maybe 1 in 3 are willing to get their kids vaccinated as soon as this becomes available.
All right. So more trepidation with parents towards vaccinating their kids than we are on vaccinating ourselves.
Yeah, I think, and remember, these aren't full doses, these are half doses, but this is seriously something every parent needs to discuss with their pediatrician. You know, there was some discussion about myocarditis with kids, and there was some discussion about maybe it's only good for kids who have underlying illnesses, but it's important to note that, you know, kids are getting COVID. There are more and more kids getting COVID, and in that particular age group, 94 kids have died. So, you know, it's something that for parents to consider, but at the same time, I mean, there's a long way to go.
Is that number nationally? 94 kids
94 nationally,
okay,
yes.
Very good.
All right, let's pivot to the other big news of the day. This is actually incredibly exciting. There's a Cleveland Clinic doctor who for 2 decades now has been working on a breast cancer vaccine. They are ready to take this into human trials now. This is something you've been covering since the inception of it, right? Or at least the light bulb moment.
You know, it's so interesting because this is like, I've managed to see this research from the beginning till now. And, you know, not only could this vaccine save lives, but it could be the key to preventing several types of cancer.
Dr. Vincent Tui spent years creating a vaccine to prevent the deadliest and most aggressive type of breast cancer, triple negative. Tuesday, Cleveland Clinic vaccinated the first patient in a phase 1 clinical trial.
This vaccine is designed to prompt the immune system to destroy the tumor as it emerges and prevent it from growing.
The vaccine targets a lactation protein called A-lactoalbumin, typically present in triple negative breast cancer, or TNBC.
This phase 1 trial, funded by the Department of Defense, is designed to determine the dose and schedule of the vaccine.
TNBC represents about 15% of all breast cancers.
Triple-negative breast cancers account for a disproportionate higher percentage of breast cancer deaths, twice as likely to occur in African American women. 80% of the breast tumors that occur in women with mutations in the BRCA1 gene are triple-negative.
They hope to recruit 24 women who've already gone through TNBC treatment and are at high risk for recurrence.
Stages 2 to 3, ER negative, PR negative, HER2 negative. They must have completed all standard treatment, be free of disease, and be within 3 years of starting treatment.
Patients will receive 3 shots 2 weeks apart and be monitored for side effects and immune response. The study will complete in September next year. While this is just the first phase, the hope is that it's also the beginning of the end to certain cancers.
Our ultimate aim is to develop a 21st century primary vaccination program that prevents diseases that we confront with age, such as breast, ovarian, and endometrial cancers.
So this is the phase 1 study. It'll take about a year. Then the phase 1B study will involve women who've had prophylactic mastectomy because they carry the breast cancer gene. After that, phases 2 and 3 will take even more time and money, and hopefully results are favorable, and within the decade, this could potentially be available.
Yeah. I think in the last 2 years, we've seen how quickly the medical community has responded with a COVID vaccine. That certainly is the exception. It isn't the rule. You've been talking about this for 2 decades. Tell us a little bit about why it's taken 20 years just to get to this point.
This is normal.
Yes.
This is the way things happen. So why didn't this happen like COVID? Well, there are 4 people in Dr. Tuohy's lab. His research wasn't backed by a pharmaceutical giant that was given billions of dollars by world governments to create a vaccine for just one virus on a platform that was already created. He's had to follow the stringent rules and FDA guidelines, meaning all that red tape that the COVID vaccine was able to bypass, he has to deal with it. And he's been dealing with supply chain delays, and his funding is coming from the Department of Defense. So there's another mountain of paperwork to go through. So his research is standard for what it takes to get a new treatment out of the lab and to the bedside. But again, this is still the very beginning, so we're still looking at years before this could potentially be a standard treatment for people with breast cancer.
So many more opportunities for you to check in with Dr. Tuohy and his lab.
Yes.
And a big ray of hope, really. I know it still will be a while, but this is a major, major breakthrough.
You know, a few years ago, he was published in the journal Nature, and it did show it was positive in mice. And when we saw that, we thought, okay, this is
Next
hope.
up,
There's the next
humans.
step, and yeah. So now it's really great to see already 1 patient vaccinated. They're hoping to get another 24.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much, Monica. We turn now to Akron, where the Stanley Ford trial has been taking place. Stanley Ford will be spending the rest of his life in prison. The sentence handed down today in a Summit County courtroom after a jury found Ford guilty in the deaths of 9 of his neighbors. Amani Abraham joins us now with more on this. Amani?
Hi, Betsy. Yeah, it was a case that spanned more than 4.5 years and included a mistrial during the pandemic. Today, it came to a close. Summit County Common Pleas Judge Christine Croce sentenced Stanley Ford to 9 consecutive life sentences and an additional 21 years. A jury found him guilty for setting 2 separate fires that killed 9 people. The first one in April of 2016 that claimed the lives of Lindell Lewis and Gloria Jean Hart. Then a year later, another fire that left 7 dead in the Boggs and Huggins family, including children. Today, Judge Croce was brought to tears.
And you know, many people will see this type of emotion for me as a sign of weakness. I consider it compassion for all of you, because these are senseless, they're tragic, and completely unnecessary. The compassion that the Huggins' family has shown you, that you refuse to show your neighbors, is if you showed them half of that, they would still be alive today.
Judge Croce also ordered Ford to solitary confinement on specific days, including the dates of the deadly fires and the birthdays of the children killed. Now, Ford declined to make a statement in court, and today his defense attorneys pointed to a possible appeal. Amani Abraham, 3 News.
I know this has been top of mind for a lot of folks around Akron. We appreciate the update, Amani.
Now on your feet at 5, take a look at this video. A water main break shut down part of I-90 in both directions for hours today. Drivers sat bumper to bumper while crews worked to drain the water. The flooded road caused a few drivers to get stuck. Officials say the water main broke near East 55th Street. Lanes finally reopened in both directions around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Wow.
What a mess. Well, in today's Tech Tuesday, several tech companies testified before a Senate panel focused on keeping kids safe online. According to NPS, YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat are only offering tweaks and minor changes in their operations to protect young users.
According to Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut, the panel is hearing the same stories of the platforms causing kids harm that they heard about Facebook just a couple of weeks ago. The panel wants to learn how algorithms and product designs can magnify harm to kids and actually foster addiction. The goal is to develop legislation to protect young people and give parents tools to protect their kids. This is big, and it's not going away. And we've been talking about it since our show started about a year and a half ago. It seems like the industry itself is slow to take the steps to police itself.
Well, sure, because it's going to cost them money.
So at some point, we expect government, which is here to protect us, we expect government to stand up and put some sort of legislation in place that will police the industry more stringently. And we all wait.
We continue to wait, right?
It's very frustrating.
This is where you want to hand your phone to one of the senators or congressmen and say, TikTok.
Take a look.
Go.
Yep.
I get frustrated sometimes, and I know that they're trying. They're in confined, procedures and things that they have to do too. Meanwhile, parents are just sitting here like, great, my kid just ripped a sink out of a bathroom
Yeah, because of a social media
school
challenge.
bathroom because of a social media challenge that's so stupid. Or, my daughter refuses to do her hair in this certain way, or she wants to cut this way because she saw somebody else had it that way. It's just...
Yeah.
It is so frustrating sometimes, and I think a lot of times parents just need to pivot that frustration, and instead of, aiming it outward at the people who really at this point can't do anything immediate.
No.
Sit down and talk to your kids and have that chat and try and open up those lines of communication. That's even harder than making legislation happen.
Yeah, it
But
is.
at that point, this is all we have to go on right now.
Raising teens has always been a challenge. I don't think it's ever been more difficult than it is right now. And society needs government's help.
And I'm just getting into it.
I know. Good luck, Bets. Good luck.
Still to come on What's New, it's finally here. It's induction week for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we are going to take you behind the scenes at the Cleveland Rock Archives next. And of course, it is a little dreary out there, Matt, and I mentioned it feels a little more like November than October right now.
Yeah, it does, Betsy. Some of the area wind chills in the 30s right now. Yuck. Showers will continue off the lake. The rest of us dealing with mostly cloudy skies. We do have sun peaks out there. We have some brighter days ahead. I've got your forecast coming up.
might be VHS tape of me singing this song in the mid-'80s in a very embarrassing situation.
Do I need to talk to Big Sue about this?
No. I'm hoping the VHS machine is busted, broken.
I have one that works.
Beyond. No. Who doesn't love a little Tina Turner, though? Everybody does.
I just want to see Betsy as Tina Turner now that you mentioned that.
You really don't. As many of you know, the induction ceremony kicks off this weekend.
I really do. Our Dominic Ferrante got a backstage pass to the place that holds all of those memories and where you can take them all in.
It's here in these walls where the archives of Cleveland rock and roll live on.
So anyone who wants to come in and do research or just learn more about music or listen to music here, watch videos, can do that. You just have to make an appointment.
While we're gearing up for the induction ceremony this weekend, it's also important to remember the rich rock and roll history that Cleveland has.
We're Cleveland and we know that Cleveland rocks.
Laura Maidens is the librarian here, and she spends her days rifling through history.
We have kind of a full story of the Go-Go's in Cleveland in 1982.
Everything from set lists to original lyrics and even posters that hung on those very walls during concerts. And of course, these artifacts were pulled out for today's viewing, but it's important that they stay in temperature-controlled rooms so the memories can live on forever. The library even digitizes the archives as just another way of preservation.
When they're digitized, they become more accessible to more people.
There's a soundtrack that puts you back into a certain place in time, and we get to preserve that.
In addition to all the memories you may find here in the archives room, they also have originals, like these, the original Jimi Hendrix lyrics. And while you might not be able to view these ones, they have replications for you to see. In Cleveland, Dominic Ferrante, 3 News.
I just love the Rock Hall. Every time you go, you see something new. You can't ever have enough.
I'm all about those Cleveland archives. I bet there's a lot of stuff in there that would really interest us.
Sure.
I'm all about that VHS tape.
I am too. Big Sue, I know you watch daily.
I shouldn't have said
You need to reach out to us if you have that VHS tape. That sounds like we might get to enjoy that later this week, I hope.
Jay will pay for the overnight.
I will. Matt, your weather word today, in honor of the Rock Hall and the big week that we have here, jam. Jam.
Jam it out.
All right, will do somehow. You know, that's one of the things I was going to try to fit in maybe pajamas because it's been so just rotten chilly around here. I know, I'm not going to say it up front, of course. But yeah, just kind of a PJs, sweatpants, sweatshirt kind of afternoon outside. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Wind out of the northwest. It's been gusty, and that brings down our wind chill. So the feels like temperature in the 30s at times. Look at this, 39 feels like temperature Youngstown, 50s elsewhere. Kind of hodgepodge. You know how it feels outside. The wind continues to be gusty. We've had gusts over 30, mainly towards the lakeshore. It kind of lessens up a bit as you get down towards the south. Why is it so windy? Well, you'll see here in a second, but the wind will start to subside overnight tonight. Notice those gusts get back into the teens by tomorrow morning. So a couple more hours here, good 6 to 7 hours of some stronger wind. It's kicked off some lake effect rain. Boy, the models nailed this the last 2 days in terms of this main band. It's coming down really good. Areas of Geauga County now near the Burton area over towards Middlefield, seeing some decent rain. Lighter showers, just an easy run of the wipers as you get up towards the Menor area. ODOT cam at the Willoughby exit, right after the Willoughby exit, 271 split. Look what showed up, everybody. Fall. We've got some fall colors. That looks nice. But you can see some of the wet pavement we have out there. It extends down to areas of Portage County, north and east of Shalersville area, and then down into the Akron and Canton area, seeing a little bit of lake effect rain as well. Clearing off towards the west, so you're watching in Mansfield, you're saying, what rain, right? We've got some sunshine. Live ODOT cam out towards the Port Clinton area, showing some sun peaks out there. Look at this system out towards the east, though. We've got a little push coming back in our direction. That's going to hold the clouds in here. This is a monster nor'easter. If this was snow, different story, right? It's not, but they're expecting 50 to 70 mile per hour winds. Areas of Nantucket, Cape Cod was to go throughout the evening hours. For us, it's just going to keep our forecast locked in place. So more clouds in the forecast with your National Zymark hour-by-hour look. You can see tonight we don't plummet with the clouds. We're in the 40s. Tomorrow clouds will linger, perhaps some leftover lake effect showers. I think that'd be mainly early, and then we'll clear things out. If you like the sunshine, if that's your jam, you're really going to enjoy some of the time. I forget to get that kick in there. There you go. 64 on Thursday as we really start to warm things up. That's the good news. We're going to bring in more mild air in here. Rain arrives Thursday night. Friday, Saturday looking wet at this point. Trick or treat still looks dry as long as it's on Sunday night. Guys.
Just keep jamming, Matt. Thanks.
You too. Can't wait.
Next on What's New, Chrissy Teagan has reached a milestone in her fight to stay sober. We're going to talk about her journey straight ahead.
I really expected a David Lee Roth style kick for today's weather word. You know, a jump and really get into it.
Sore legs. Still sore.
Still sore from the half marathon.
No jumping.
Then this spider has become an internet sensation. Why? Well, because many see a resemblance to a certain celebrity. That story coming up on our Worth the Watch.
I do.
All right, you know the music? It's time for our daily pop break with Kiera Cotton.
Well, Ohio native Dave Chappelle getting huge blowback after his Netflix show, the most recent one, very controversial, but now he's speaking out.
That's right, Jay and Betsy. He is standing his ground with this one. Since Dave Chappelle released his Netflix stand-up The Closer earlier this month, there's been discussions, backlash, and even walkouts. But now we're hearing directly from him. The 48-year-old posted a video to Instagram yesterday addressing his critics head on. He says he's willing to meet with the LGBTQ community about their concerns. However, he does have some conditions and has no plans on bending to their demands. Chappelle is currently on tour screening his Untitled documentary. He'll make a stop here in Cleveland on November 14th. We have the details up on WKYC.com. And Chrissy Teagan has just released her latest cookbook, Cravings All Together. But the 35-year-old mom and entrepreneur has a lot more to celebrate. Teagan is officially 100 days sober. She says that she made the decision to go sober during her cyberbullying scandal, saying it forced her to reflect on how to grow, learn, and overall just be a better person. In an interview on the Today Show this morning, she explained where she's at now in her journey, saying, "I'm so excited, I feel so good, I feel clear-headed." And former Cleveland Cavaliers point guard Iman Shumpert is going all out to scare the competition. During last night's episode of Dancing with the Stars, he and his partner Daniela took horror to new heights. Dressed in red jumpsuits, the duo took on a contemporary dance inspired by Jordan Peele's Us. The daring routine earned Iman and Daniela perfect scores from the judges. Across the board, 10s, 40 out of 40. And at 6'5" and with a basketball background, it's no surprise that Amon has a competitive edge, but I'm sure his wife Tiana and her killer dance moves kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
hurt.
still swinging a woman around by her ankles as an amateur, that's a little bit scary.
Right? Daniela must have a lot of trust in him. You know?
Maybe that's what led to the perfect scores. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, if you're willing to try
Fear
that.
factor.
High risk, high reward, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's big.
All right,
All
Keith,
right.
thanks.
Sure thing.
All right, friends, we don't like spiders around here. I don't know, Jay, do you like, you're okay with them?
I don't mind them. I don't love them.
They're creepy, right? But look at this thing. This spider is now an internet famous sensation because everybody thinks it's wearing glasses and a toupee and looks like Sir Elton John. Look again. See? Playing his
Kinda
little piano.
does. You hear Yellow Brick Road? Listen to Yellow Brick Road.
Love it.
Hear it?
Yeah.
You can almost hear it.
Now, who wore Elton John's sunglasses better? Now, you might remember that last year about this time, or 2 years ago actually, I think this was a 2019 Halloween if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
My friend Jay Crawford decided to be all Elton John-ish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the spider, hate to tell you. I just love
let's
those little
not
eyes.
be so quick to judge. I mean, are you talking about these old things here?
Jeez.
Is that what you're talking about? I mean,
now I think you look more like the spider than Elton John. I think
that's the look I'm going for, actually.
The spider looks more like Elton John. You look more like the spider than Elton John.
I gotta say, I did this because I'm a good sport.
They're fab.
You know, they asked me to dress up as Elton John,
Very
and I'm
glam.
like, why not? But I have to say, it's one of the more foolish things I've ever done on television.
No.
It is, and and as you know, I am not afraid to do foolish things on television.
Yeah.
But these, as I look at myself now in the monitor, I can't believe I actually went through with that.
Are you waxing poetic right now?
No, I'm just telling you like it is.
Wow.
They're really hard to see through. Put them on, Bets.
I can imagine.
Put 'em
See,
on.
the women though, this is like.
Oh, I mean,
Hey,
you're fabulous. You're
I'm
ready for
here.
the runway.
I'm ready. Where's my driver? I need my latte.
You need a small poodle. And then you're all set.
A little bougie dog.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you do.
All right.
All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New. More silliness, I'm sure. Also, Game 1 of the World Series starts tonight. Got me to thinking, Bets. It was 5 years ago right now that our Indians were locked up with the Cubs in one of the best World Series ever played. Some thoughts on that World Series and some thoughts on what Cleveland needs to do to make it back to the Fall Classic.
And the food prep business is closely monitored for safety, but what about the companies that bring that food to your front door? That's our top talker, and it's next. I gotta clean these glasses.
They're filthy, right?
Gross.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Let's get you up to speed with 3 things you need to know now at 5:30. Within the last hour, an FDA advisory panel recommended Pfizer's COVID vaccine for kids 5 to 11. The panel voted 17-0 with 1 abstention. It will now go to the FDA, which is expected to make a final ruling in the next few days. Then it goes to the CDC. If everything gets approved, the move would make nearly everyone who is medically eligible in the United States 5+ to get a COVID vaccine, the vast majority.
I-90 back open after a water main break flooded a part of the highway earlier today. Take a look at this video. The water main break happened near East 55th Street. Also happened late this morning. A few drivers got stuck in the mess. Others waited in bumper-to-bumper traffic trying to get through it. Lanes finally reopened in both directions around 3 this afternoon.
And Stanley Ford was sentenced in court this morning. Judge Christine Croce sentenced him to 9 consecutive life sentences plus 21 years for attempted murder. Ford killed 9 people in 2 arson fires in Akron. The first was set in 2016, the other in 2017. Ford, who has maintained his innocence, briefly thanked the families for their statements of forgiveness and compassion, but did not make a statement. A lot of folks in Akron keeping a close eye on that throughout the last several months. With all of that, we welcome you back to What's New now at this 5:30 half hour on Tuesday afternoon. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Bets, I want to shoehorn a quick football item in right here because it just happened within the last hour or so. We know Baker Mayfield is in year 4 of his deal.
True.
The Browns could franchise him next season. They'd have to make him amongst the highest paid quarterbacks.
Sure.
And that goes year to year. They're working on an extension. Dan Graziano, an old buddy of mine at ESPN, is reporting that he has information that the Browns would actually be willing to go in the $30 million per season range, the mid to high $30 million range, which isn't quite Josh Allen money or Patrick Mahomes money, but it would certainly be way up there in the terms of what quarterbacks are paid. Well, keep an eye on that story because that's very interesting, particularly now when he's
with all
hurt.
the labrum issues.
Yeah. So that's something that's not necessarily developing, but Dan says he's talking to people inside the organization, and he knows that the Browns are willing to go into that ballpark.
Wow, that franchise tag is everything in football, certainly. Well, our first top talker today is about those popular food delivery services that bring your food cravings right to your door. According to Statista, they made more than $26 billion last year on those deliveries. But who is watching those deliveries and making sure no one is touching your food? Well, the truth is that nobody is. Each company has its own set of rules. The FDA met last week and hopes to have national safety standards out in the next few months. But, Jay, and this kind of creeped us out in various discussions, 1 in 4 drivers admitted to eating the customer's food, picking it up for the customer, opening that bag, eating part, all, packaging back up, and then giving it to someone.
Yeah, that's a little disturbing. I like my French fries without someone else's hand in the bag.
Yeah.
Mixing it around. 1 in 4, okay, that's 25%. That's a little scary. You know, with emerging technologies like we've seen here, and this clearly is an emerging industry, sometimes they're slow to react. We talked about the social media platforms earlier. This one, though, is food-based, and quite frankly, I'm a little surprised that it has taken until just the last couple of weeks for the industry itself to say, maybe we need some sort of industry-wide standard of safety.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the restaurants have stepped up. They have done, like, if you've ever had food delivered, it's like getting into Fort Knox.
You need a combination to
get
your food.
French fries. Like, I'm like ripping the bag apart. It gets messy, but that way you know if somebody's been in there.
Yeah.
But some of them still don't do that. They just have the good old to-go box. And yikes.
Hopefully a standard's coming soon. Okay, tonight in Houston, big night in sports. The Astros and Braves will play Game 1 of the 2021 World Series. Got me to thinking, because it's been exactly 5 years since our Cleveland Indians really set the sports world on fire in the 2016 World Series. 5 years ago tonight, it was Game 2. The Indians actually lost that one. It was in Cleveland. So they were split 1-1 heading to Chicago. In Wrigley Field, the Indians won games 3 and 4. They took a commanding 3-1 lead, but we all know what happened from there. The Cubs won Game 5 in Chicago. Series shifted back to Progressive. Indians had 2 to win 1. They got blown out in Game 6. Then they lost Game 7. Took 10 innings, 8-7. We all remember that dramatic game-tying 8th-inning home run by Rajai Davis. Of course, that seems like so long ago now. That World Series, by the way, for the 7 games, the Indians scored 27 runs and the Cubs scored 27 runs. It was such a great series. But it also got me to thinking, so what has to happen for the Indians to get back to this stage? Well, a lot, actually. Let's start with getting Jose Ramirez to a contract extension. He's clearly our best player. We've let so many of our previous best players get away. Lock up Jose Ramirez. Also, keep those pitchers healthy.
Yeah.
Last year, that was such a struggle. And you've got to add a couple of more pieces. You need a few more bats. All of that will cost money, a lot of money. Owner Paul Dolan proved this year he's just not able to spend at the level necessary to win. In fact, the Indians were dead last in payroll in 2021. That's why they were under 500. In my belief, Betsy, it would be in his benefit to take on a partner, someone to help defray the costs of running a Major League Baseball team, because it ain't cheap.
No.
And especially when you take a look at the payrolls of the Dodgers and the Astros and the Braves and these teams that have made it to the World Series. It's a spending game. And when you're finishing last in that contest, you're not going back to the World Series.
They have relied on trades that just magically worked out. They have relied on
They've been smart.
prospects and growing from within, and they have done that absolutely well. But to get back to where we need to be,
money.
A little bit.
It talks, and they need it. So that's just my 2 cents.
Man, 5 years, hard to believe. Well, next for us here on What's New, we asked, you delivered. We'll show you some of your jack-o'-lantern pictures ahead in Halloween.
And Leon Bibb has been telling stories on television for half a century. Ahead on What's New, we're going to hear stories about Leon from those who have worked alongside him. But first, Matt's got your weather in a jiffy. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, hey guys, I know we're sick of the rain and the drizzle around here, so I wanted to show you kind of a different look to that. This is drizzle going on some donuts.
Oh, Jay's going to be so happy.
I think we could all accept that kind of drizzle. We could only just capture it.
Keep it drizzling.
We'll have more drizzle in the forecast next.
Yes, I do.
No, Betsy doesn't run.
Betsy doesn't do running. Huh?
Betsy only runs when being chased, and even then I become a victim very quickly. So, no. The running days are long gone. Okay. I think the running days were actually gone when I was actually running in high school playing sports. My coaches will probably tell you that. But Matt, you did run. Please tell everybody how you did. I know you probably talked about it yesterday, but I didn't hear the report.
This is old news. I did okay. It's a half marathon. I don't think it deserves any credit. It's a full marathon. That's a big one. I got like 1/40th out of almost 2,000. So top 10%. I was happy about that.
That's huge.
It was okay. It was good. It was a beautiful race. It was one of those races where I got to, look around and really enjoy the experience because it was nighttime, it was still dark out, and sunrise came up in Cleveland. It was just heavenly. Right. There were no kids screaming or yelling. It was just nice daddy time. It was great. Anyway, thank you very much. Steady temps tonight. Notice temperature's not doing a whole lot tonight, right? Clouds heading around. You see the gusty winds there at the bottom starting to ease. So winds will back off tonight. We're going to back off some of the lake effect rain as well. But why are temps steady? Well, here's the cool air off towards the north and east. Look at the rapid warm up down in the plains. They've had 80s, even 90s in Texas today. That warmth is heading our way quickly. We're going to be mid 50s tomorrow. We could do better. And we will as we get on northeast Ohio Thursday. Should make it well into the 60s. All due to this frontal boundary. This is that same system that slammed the areas of the Gulf of Alaska, the West Coast, now heading across the Rockies, expecting widespread severe weather tonight. There's nothing now, but they're going to have explosive thunderstorms, Kansas down towards Texas. For us, though, our impact's being felt by a strong nor'easter. This thing is really rocking areas of the eastern seaboard, I-95 corridor. For us, we've got rain that will spread back in here. That north wind across the lakes, you know what it does this time of year. We've got the lake effect rain ongoing out towards east. Been coming down good areas of Geauga County, Portage County. This will continue tonight. I think it'll back off tomorrow and should start to lose it tomorrow. You see your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast not picking up on a lot of that. Keep in mind our lake's a little bit warmer. But as we go throughout the day tomorrow, notice the clouds coming back in from the east. That's that system off towards the east kind of spraying them back in. So we're going to be locked into clouds tomorrow, a little bit warmer, wind will back off. Shouldn't be a bad day outside of some of those sun peaks we get in the afternoon, and then we'll clear things out, and then we start to talk impacts from that Thursday storm system that you saw out in the plains. So what happens with that? Bigger picture, there's the storms tonight. As we go through time, this forms another strong area low pressure. Rain will arrive later in the day on Thursday. I think we're fine the beginning half of the day, and watch how this thing just sits and spins like a top. Rainy day on Friday, rainy day on Saturday. Here's your trick-or-treat time Saturday, rain pulling out. Sunday, it does look dry at this point. This will set the stage for some cold air to unlock from Canada next week. Oh boy, what does that do? Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. 65 incoming rain on Thursday. Friday, not a good day. Saturday, lingering showers. We'll clear things out for Halloween. And Jay, next week, I've got a 49 on Tuesday. It gets cooler after that.
Yeah, I'm just only looking up to Monday. I'm not even going to look at that Tuesday because I remember earlier this week, yesterday, you mentioned the S word.
I didn't say it, though.
No, you didn't, but it's as a possibility.
I wasn't even thinking.
Just think it. Please don't say it.
Liquidy.
Okay, right now it is time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hello, friend.
Hello, Jay. Good to see you. I'll tell you what, for this first story, you had to be quick to get in on this one today because ahead of being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Foo Fighters are putting on a show at the Cleveland House of Blues. Tickets went on sale at noon and they sold out in just 2 hours. So the Foo Fighters will be inducted into the Rock Hall by Paul McCartney in Saturday's ceremony at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and only a select few will see them on Thursday beforehand. Now, the regular season for high school football is already over, if you can believe that, and we have your guide to the playoffs. The Ohio High School Athletic Association's high school football playoffs begin this Friday. Our digital team has laid out every first-round matchup involving Northeast Ohio schools. Remember, this year the playoffs are expanded, doubling from 8 teams to 16 teams in every region across divisions. Check WKYC.com to follow your favorite team. And today, on Facebook, I saw a friend of mine share the funniest jack-o'-lantern, so I had to ask our What's New Facebook group to share their pumpkins. But first, here's the one that started it for me today. These are James' Scary Spooky Pumpkins for 2021. That big one says student loans. He told me he started making the ghost face from Scream, but he accidentally cut off the nose, so he went with something else, I think scarier, personally. Hilarious. Now, these are from Jill Solomon. They carved these over the weekend. Check out the teeth popping out on the left there. Little snapjack ghost on the right. Very good. And our digital producer, Hope Sloop, never disappoints with the puns. She says she sure can paint a mean one. Here's the Grinch. I got a couple that I made too. I carved these ones up last year, you know, the pumpkin face.
You did those?
I did. I
you
did the
use
one on the
stencils?
right. I did use stencils,
Okay.
but I carved them out myself.
Betsy and I are experts now.
The Wu-Tang was a print from the computer, though. Love carving a good pumpkin.
Wow.
Haven't done it yet this year, hoping to do it on Thursday, but Jay and Betsy, people in the What's New page were asking to see Jay and Betsy's pumpkin.
Mine is probably still up in a refrigerator upstairs right now.
Mine's in a trash can. So Betsy, being organized as she is, immediately carved, put it right in the refrigerator. Now, she told me to do the same. You'd think I would have. I didn't. And after about 4 days, the stench and the bugs around my desk, it had to go.
I should probably clarify. I put it in the sales department's refrigerator. I haven't been up to look at it yet. I should probably go do that.
Good
We're
idea.
going to see those this week, though, right?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday.
I can't wait to see. I guess the photos.
Yeah, we'll see pictures.
We'll do our best. All right, thanks, Steph. Next up for us here on What's New, we have been so lucky here at 3 News to have Leon Bibb telling stories to us. And, you know, he's been on television for 50 years. Some of his colleagues celebrate his half-century in TV after the break. Don't you love when we say half-century, Leon? That's great stuff.
Plus, one Northeast Ohio boy has issued a challenge to teens across the country. It's a terrific idea to help those in our communities that can use a hand. We're going to tell you all about that. It's our Show Us Something Good. It's coming up.
The story was that big. I did the Today Show. I got you.
That was a
you got me.
great story. Holy
I did the Today Show. It was a worldwide.
This week, we're honoring Leon Bibb's 50 years in television news, a career that started in 1971 and took him across the globe, covering wars, conflicts, and interviewing world leaders.
But Leon's greatest influence may be the lives he touched as he went to work every day. It's a very long line of people who want to congratulate him, and here's just a few who wanted to share how Leon has impacted their lives.
Leon, congratulations on 50 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all that you have done for me and other journalists just like me to help us along our way too.
I'll tell you what Leon has been doing all along. Leon is giving you the best version of himself, which has inspired all of us to try to do the same. So I'd like to say congratulations to you, Leon. Half a century on television, 50 years in, you're doing your very best work. And I want to wish Leon and Marguerite the next 50 years being the best of their life. And we're all better because you've spent those 50 years with us.
Between Christmas and New Year's, we're heading towards that period right now. Leon called me because I think he couldn't find anybody else and said, hey, would you be willing to come down and talk to our viewers about why it makes sense to make charitable contributions at this time of year? And being a CPA, he thought it'd be great. I was 28 years old at the time, and I did. And the very next day, Leon and his general manager called me back and said, hey, would you consider doing this on a regular basis? I guess they liked what they saw. And from that point on, Leon became my mentor. So Leon, 50 years, doesn't surprise me. Amazing. It's been wonderful to be with you on this ride, and I'm very proud to call you a friend.
I remember growing up watching the news here in Cleveland, and it was always amazing to see someone who looked like me, a black man, on TV who was able to share that gift with everybody. His voice, his storytelling skills, he had a way of drawing you in and making sure that you were always interested in what he was talking about. So we're glad that he's been able to share his gift with us for the last 50 years. And Leon, if you're willing, we'll take 50 more if you got it in you. Congratulations again.
Through our many years together at WEWS and the privilege of sharing that space with him, I was able to witness firsthand how much he means to people in Northeast Ohio and how closely to their hearts he is held. For decades, he has faithfully chronicled our lives here, our wins and losses, our joys and our struggles, and he's done all of this with his singular voice and insights. So, congratulations, Leon, on 50 years in news and in television. It's time to celebrate, my friend, because nobody does it better.
Leon, congratulations on 50 years in broadcasting. You know, it seems like just yesterday, the two of us were riding the RTA from Shaker Heights to downtown Cleveland during our days together at WKYC. Of course, you were jumping the turnstile, and then you'd kind of go and rifle through some of the change machines. But that's another story. I wish you all the best today and another 50 years of storytelling. And that, my friend, puts you on a Smucker's jar. Wow!
Very fitting tribute.
Thank you. Al Roker, I love him. I love him.
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at all these people that you've worked with, and they're saying such beautiful things about their experiences with you. What does that make you feel?
Well, it touches my heart. It really does. I just tried to be Leon.
Yeah.
Just tried to be Leon on set, on camera, wherever.
Yeah.
I just try to be Leon.
We have more people who want to celebrate you, Leon. Russ and Lena joining us now. They even brought some
celebration material.
Celebration. Come on in. Yeah, it's all right.
Don't walk in front of Leon's shot.
It's okay.
Leon gets very angry
Yeah,
when you walk in.
that's all right.
front
Here,
of
come
the
over
shot.
here. Come over here.
Oh,
It's fine.
thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Leon,
thank you.
Thank you for 50 years. And here's to 50 more.
Here's for 50.
Come on.
We'll try and do another 50.
Cheers, guys.
I'll let the audience
Cheers.
know I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I'm still here, and the old right-hander has still got something. I can throw the fastball, I think.
And Jay and I have one more thing to say to you.
What is that?
I Ziggy Zumba.
I Ziggy Zumba, Zumba, Zumba. I Ziggy Zumba,
He's
Zumba.
a Falcon
Zumba.
friend.
Bowling Green State University.
Quickly, your line about getting to this point. You shared it with me earlier today. It was great.
Well, one of the things you got to do is you just got to put your head down. You just got to keep on going.
Yeah.
And you got to show up every day.
Yeah.
And you got to do quality work every day and get along with everybody as much as you can and stay out of everybody's business in the newsroom.
Well, we don't
Great
want
advice.
this bubbly to get warm.
Get out of the shot as
Yeah,
well,
stay out of the shot, Russ.
We'll be right back. Happy 50, my friend.
I do. I'm about to sit down. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I totally would have walked in. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I totally would have walked in front of camera 6.
Yeah, I'm like walking in front of you.
This is why I'm like.
About my age, maybe mid-40s.
Hello. Yes, I'm Yanni Abraham here at the Summit County Courthouse talking about the Stanley Ford trial and his sentencing today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I spoke to the superintendent. She's hoping that they can get back to school.
My next maps with Matt. I'm gonna pitch the idea of like in college game day, where we hold up signs in the back of it.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this is essentially the first of 4 steps before.
We wrap it up with our show of something good. It comes from Lorain County, where one teen there is going above and beyond to help people in need. Also giving back to those who've served us. Hunter Krasienko signed up for a nationwide initiative called the 50-Yard Challenge, where young adults mow lawns for free for their elderly neighbors, single parents, and veterans. Last Tuesday, Hunter completed his 50th yard. We asked Hunter what made him decide to do this challenge.
I don't really know. Just make a difference in the community, I guess. That's one of the reasons. Just help people out that need it. I feel like I did something good.
Well, it is good. We're glad you've done it, Hunter. He says he's not done, Bets. He's going to do 50 more yards and plans to snowblow or plow 50 driveways as well.
That's huge.
It is. He's in 10th grade at Lorain County JVS and says he wants to go into the Marines after graduation.
Good for you, buddy.
Bet he'd make a great Marine. We're out of time. Thanks so much for watching. Back tomorrow at 5.
What Matters Most with Russ and Lena starts right now.
Now at 6, emotions in court.
You chose to take it into your own hands. You chose to seek revenge and not live by the Bible.
The judge in the Stanley Ford